Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, Derek and I'm doing this video just for you guys today. That is because I have gotten a metric ton of requests to compare the Twilight Princess Dusklight PC port with the Henriko 4K textures and the Wii U HD textures. So we're going to be going back to back with the same scenes with two different texture packs, and you guys can decide which one you like better, because I know a lot of people haven't actually started playing the game because they're collecting all this information to decide how they actually want to play it. But I'm here to tell you right now, this is all subjective. Whatever looks better to you is going to be the better experience. One texture pack isn't going to be inherently better than the other. They're just going to be different vibes, but if you catch the vibe, no matter which texture pack you're using, you're going to have a fun time. And to keep this clear, I will tell you what source you're watching, but I'll also put a little icon in the bottom left-hand corner, especially when we're doing the soundtrack sample, so you know exactly what we're watching. And right off the top here, you're going to see that we are on the Wii U HD version of the game with the intro, which means they're going to go through the exact same intro on the 4K textures from Henriko. And I will say, while they are different vibes, both of them look absolutely spectacular. And when you actually do something like play Twilight Princess as a PC port, you're getting a better experience than GameCube, Wii, or even Wii U. And I'll also have a Wii U versus the PC port comparison shortly, talking about the performance and everything else, but I went with the texture pack comparison first, because you guys want to know how to play Twilight Princess on PC, and I figured I would do that. Now, of course, in this 4K texture pack, you're going to have simpler textures, and that's because when Nintendo remastered Twilight Princess on the Wii U, they replaced a lot of the textures with more detailed models. And it's one of those things, you get to decide what vibe is for you. If you originally played the game on GameCube, I think you might like the Henriko texture slightly more. If you originally played the game on Wii U, you're probably going to want the Twilight Princess HD texture pack. And obviously I've reversed this just for a little bit more ease of viewing, but you'll see here as the logo comes up, we're going to get Twilight Princess 4K, and that's how you know the texture pack's actually active. But let's move into our first scene. Right off the top here, we're going to be on the Henriko 4K texture pack, and I will change Link's costume in the actual Twilight Princess HD version so you can see an even more contrasting version. And the nice thing is, this is a really good area to see the difference in textures, especially if you look at the ground where it's going to be the most apparent. And I really do like these upscaled 4K textures, that kind of metalwork there on the ground. You can definitely tell all the detail and see it better than if you don't use a texture pack at all. But the reality is, if you don't want to use a texture pack, you don't have to. If you want the original GameCube textures without any of the upscaling, that is a possibility as well. But go ahead and pay attention to all of the different visual imagery you're seeing, because again, I can't answer for you which one you're going to like better, but I can show you back-to-back examples of the same area so you can decide for yourself. So as Link goes up the ladder here, we're going to move over into the Twilight Princess HD textures so we can get a peek at those as well. Now you will see right off the top, the ground area here absolutely way more detailed, and that's because these textures were changed out for the Wii U version of the game. So if you want more detail, you want more kind of texture literally in the actual environment, then I think the Wii U texture pack might be for you. And you'll see here, we went to the green tunic just so you can tell exactly what we're doing. I would say the lava looks pretty much identical, but it really is in a lot of the groundwork here where you can see more detail in the environment. And I think, at least for me, it makes it feel a little bit more of a living, vibrant world, although this metal texture here may be a little bit less interesting than the actual original textures upscaled to 4K from the GameCube. And the reality is, it's kind of going to be that way the entire time you are playing around with these textures. Some textures are going to look better, in my opinion, on the 4K version. Some textures are going to look better on the Twilight Princess HD version. And I'm not going to teach it to you because it gets quite messy, but it can be done. You can actually mix both texture packs together to basically create your own reality in the Twilight Princess PC port. And honestly, that is just straight up 10 out of 10 fun if you want to get that complex. Now moving back over to the 4K texture pack, every single setting in this capture is the same. We're using the dust bloom at the same 100% setting, so I really am not changing anything up other than the fact that we have two different texture packs on. So again, take a look at the ground here. You can get a really good sense of what it looks like, and I will say it definitely has a decent amount of detail in it, but it can feel ever so slightly flat because, of course, in the real world, if this actually existed, you'd have texture on those rocks there. So we're going to move into the first soundtrack sample. I'm going to show you the exact same area in the Twilight Princess HD Wii U texture pack so you can compare and contrast. And after you watch this area, leave me a comment and say which one you like better. So again, just leave me a comment down below and tell me what you think. But moving into Snow Peak Ruins here, this carpet is a good example of the detail in the environment versus what you're going to get in the Henriko 4K texture mod pack. And that again is because the developers and artists at Nintendo really did change up a lot of the textures when it came to the Wii U version of the game. And I do have both the GameCube as well as the Wii U version in my collection. And I will say if I was going to go back and play one, it definitely would be the Wii U version of the game. So if we go to the exact same area, except we actually move over to the Henriko texture pack, you will see that that carpet's ever so slightly differently detailed, almost feeling a little bit like brick and not like actual carpet. It's just one of those things. That's how I visually identify the textures here. It has more like a stone feel, but of course that is supposed to be a carpet because it's going up the stairs as well. And you'll see here that portrait definitely a little bit lower resolution than you get on the Wii U HD texture pack. But again, it's all about vibe, so whatever you think looks better to you is going to be what you want to use. Now in the Twilight Princess HD pack, which we're back to, you'll see again that carpet reads way more like an actual carpet, and you get a higher resolution, at least in the detail in that fireplace with the crest on the background and all that brick and stone work around the edges as well. Pay attention to that because I think it is the best example of the differences here. And look at that painting at the top as well with the rams on the wall that's kind of slanted. You're going to see a little bit of a difference in all of that, including the map. Now moving back over to the Henriko 4K texture pack, as I gave you some things to look at, definitely the carpet here looks way more like brick than it does carpet with kind of that soft material. And that's where I'm really seeing the tonal difference in how things read. And if you take a look at that painting as well as the crest and brickwork in the background, yes, they are higher resolution, but they are definitely less detailed. And again, you might not want all that detail. It's one of those things, if you have the nostalgia for the GameCube version of the game, but you want it in higher resolution, then the 4K tech would definitely work for you. Now moving into the Twilight Realm, take a good look at the earth here. All of that texture, that's again where you're going to see the most fundamental differences in the overall materials and their complexity in the textures, because here you're going to see there is a lot more going on in that actual ground surface area. But when we get inside to the actual temple here, where it's way more stylistically materialized, and you're going to see the differential between the Wii U HD texture pack and the 4K texture pack kind of narrow itself down to the point in time where you kind of might not even notice that many differences. And again, this is all an aesthetic thing that you get to decide which one looks better. And that is kind of my favorite thing because I love reading the comments and hearing the different reasons for why you choose one over the other. Now moving to the 4K texture pack, you're going to see the ground here is way less detailed, but it does have a completely different sort of look to it. And in some ways, I feel like on the Wii U version of the game, with those textures, your eye is actually drawn to the ground and not to the background. And when you're talking about mise-en-scène, something that I deal with all the time, or all the things that make up a scene, you never want to draw the viewer's eye to something that you don't want them to focus on. So here with the ground being softer, you're really looking more towards the background where all the detail truly is. And maybe I'm getting a little bit too deep with it, but that's why I say there really isn't a right answer to this comparison. I just knew you guys wanted to see it, and it's fun for me to talk about artistic intent because again, I spent 22 years behind the camera and I have an MFA in this stuff. Now moving into the interior, first on the Wii U textures, you're going to see here, if you take a look at the ground, that slate had a little bit more going on detail wise, but pay attention closely to the patterns that you're going to see on the floor here. And I get it, some of the textures on the enemies are changed as well, but we're really talking about the environment. Now as we move over to Henriko's 4K texture pack, you're going to see that there's a little bit less detail on the slate, but on the overall imagery of all of these kind of squiggly patterns, for whatever they are called, it really isn't all that much different. And that's what you're going to find in some areas that are way more stylized and don't really have kind of that more real world effect. They are very close together. But we're going to move into our second soundtrack sample, and we're going to go into the Wii U HD texture pack as well for this one. So go ahead and listen for like 45 seconds or so, and I'll be right back with a lot more fun. So now you know what the area looks like with the Wii U HD texture pack. We're going to go through the exact same area again on the Henriko 4K textures. And I totally get the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is a massive world and it has so many different looks. These are just the areas I wanted to compare because I found them to be the best visual examples of the differences between the two texture packs. But again, there's so many different distinct environments in the world of Twilight Princess. You can kind of just play around. And I will give you a tip: if you actually have the textures in the folder that is not the portable version, you can just basically change the names of the folders back and forth and kind of turn them on and off as you reload the game. The one thing I would love to see in the future is some sort of toggle where you could turn different texture packs on and off within the menu. I totally get it's kind of niche, but I feel like a lot of people would actually enjoy that. Leave me a comment down below if that's something you would love to see. But again, here, completely different vibe, but both still super fun. You know, if I had to take my pick, having played these games a ton now for all of these different videos, I would have to say overall I would pick the Wii U HD textures just because they have a little bit more detail and make the world feel slightly more alive. But again, there really isn't a right or wrong answer to this one. It is subjectively what you decide looks better. But you leave me your comment down below and you tell me Wii U texture pack or the actual 4K texture pack from the original GameCube version of the game, and definitely justify why you feel that way. Just remember, there isn't a right or wrong answer to this, so if you don't agree with somebody, you guys can nicely debate it because it's one of those things. Everyone gets their pick here at Video Game Esoterica. I just love hearing about yours. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.